Yeah, a recording. And I'm going to share now, Alicia. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Right. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yep.
All right, and I've got to make it large. And it's made large. All right then. Myself and Alicia have practiced this, and what's been agreed is that I will prompt Alicia every now and again, and we will support each other on some slides, and some slides Alicia will be doing those slides on her own. But this is something that's very close to Alicia's heart, communication and values, and understanding people's motivations and common goals. And the presentation is in 3 parts, but it's going to be quite interactive because we've got breakout rooms and we've also got a discussion very early on, but we'll be talking about communication, motivation and value and common goals. So over to you, Alicia.
Okay, so this is an overview on your communication and values as an advocate. So I want you to reflect on your skills so far as an advocate, as a question, and why is this important to your leadership work? I want you to now discuss this for the next 10 minutes.
So we're going back to the gallery now, and we're going to, oh yes, and paper and pen, did you say, Alicia? People
Yes. Would you have a pen and paper to write down the questions and yeah.
Okay, and it's about us all reflecting on our skills for leadership, but in particular, you advocates, what skills do you think you've developed during these advocacy programs that have helped towards leadership? Anybody want to have a go at starting the discussion?
I don't mind. So one of the things that I've learned is actually the importance of taking a step back and also to reflect upon one's own actions before kind of jumping in, because it's quite easy, especially in a very fast-paced environment like mine, where we have got a lot of clients, where, you know, if there's a potential conflict, learning to think, well, actually, let's look at one perspective and another. And also, you know, to work diplomatically, because everyone in here works in different sectors. So we've all learned sort of various transferable skills and actually how we can communicate effectively in a neurodivergent way, which can help others. So one of the things that I've been doing in my job, more so since the project started, is we use a system called Click, which is similar to Skype, where we chat every day. And rather than just getting annoyed with the chat going on in the background, I'm like, actually, this is good because we can communicate effectively. And people are like, oh, so do you know this? And so it's developing those interpersonal skills, because we are spread out throughout the country, the length and breadth of the country. So we're working more collaboratively. So I would say that's, you know, a couple of skills that I would say are particularly helpful.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I'd say more confident and being quite open about the dyslexia and being neurodiverse and say and being very talking about it a lot, very openly with so many different sorts of people, and thinking actually it's not going to hold me back. I just normally say I have quite a lot of quirks. I am very different to everybody else in the organisation, and I notice that pretty much normally when I'm in a room. But when I'm in this group, and I feel quite like the same as everybody else. But a lot of the time, I feel quite different when I'm in a room with people. But from being in this group, I actually take quite a lot of confidence away from that. So I would say it's the confidence that I've taken from the group and from the leadership, and being able to talk about things a lot more easily and constantly referring to all the different strengths that neurodiverse people have. So I'm constantly discussing this group with other people. So I'd say that's the main thing to me that I've taken away.
Well, that's superb. Confidence, Alicia.
Definitely.
And reflection.
Yeah.
I think it's just being part of this group is kind of part of me being part of the whole neurodivergent community, and it's helping me to understand a lot more about my neurodivergence and other people's, and it's giving me the opportunity to be more a part of things and opening up more opportunities for me to lead, to assist, to help people, you know, and that is kind of helping people to kind of look at their systems, their businesses, and helping them to review things. And yeah, all kinds of things are kind of coming this way because of this group, and what I'm gaining from it, and learning, and where it's putting me as well in the community.
Sounds like it's been quite inspirational for you, Dee.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy being part of it, and yeah, I think just being part of the whole neurodivergent community is quite inspirational. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. Is there anyone else with any that can add?
Me, Alicia.
Maybe,
Oh, sorry.
maybe I'll say that I still find it a real challenge. I've become aware, for me, it's order. I know that my brain thinks of things in a non-majority order. So often the group on a work call are thinking in a different place to me. So I've learned to use things like the mute button, but I thought I'd just raise the point that it can be really awful and crushing and stuff like that. And so having this group is fantastic, because the stuff that everyone said, what Becky said, that it is just how it is, and trying to be more open about that. And then I just find that in some situations I thrive, like this one, and in others it's quite oppressive and difficult, and people get cross with me and all that kind of thing. So I thought I'd put that out there, but the value of the group, that it's okay and you're all just trying your best, I suppose. Yeah.
I completely
Yeah.
agree with that. I'm going to say that's definitely how I feel. So yeah, I just want to chip in. I definitely agree with what you were saying, because I have the same I know we're in the same sort of industry, so I have the same in a lot of meetings. So yes, I completely get where you're coming from.
Yeah, that sounds that's very, very, very interesting. Has anyone else got anything to say?
Me, Alicia, Andre. Obviously, I'm
Yeah,
not going to be on the screen. I think
that's
I've
fine.
learned to kind of embrace my dyslexia. I used to be quite embarrassed. I didn't know a lot about it when I was first diagnosed. Being part of the group has made me grow as an individual and understand myself, I think, because we all share kind of common maybe traits, or we're quite different, and we're quite different, but we're similar. We're a tribe, I suppose, in a way. We found our own similar people. But I've noticed, because I speak more about it, other people open up to me and tell me that they're dyslexic, and they wouldn't have told people at work or their family. So it's been quite an interesting journey, let's say, but it's been interesting once you open up to people, that they feel comfortable then to be able to open up to you as well. So I think it's just good to be part of this group. It just made me stronger as an individual and more confident, as other people have said.
Yeah, for me, it's made me be able to use my transferable skills in challenging, complex decision-making situations. I have read recommended books from this group. I've taken a lot of advice. I've attended advocacy training courses to develop myself further. I have also challenged myself by being in the community, like running stores for the Waltham Forest Dyslexic Association to get people assessed. So it's made me open up in ways that I didn't think was possible. I do suffer from a lot of anxiety, and I find that it's helping. But my strength is actually problem solving and creativity, and I find that I can focus more on my own, and I can not judging. I'm very non-judgmental on myself, and that reflects upon others. Um, yeah, and okay, so we are.
Sorry, did you say non-judgmental on yourself? I didn't quite catch
Yes.
that bit. So you're not judgmental of yourself. That's what you said.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
find that I suffer from anxiety. Even now, I'm suffering from anxiety, but because I've attended this group, it's helped, and I actually started to now feel more comfortable than I ever have been before being in this group, because of our experiences as a collective and our common goal, which is our neurodiversity.
Okay, great, thanks. That's good.
Yeah, and so and our inclusiveness for all walks of life, including those facing hard adversities. I find that we do a lot of work that other people don't think of, like the grey areas, and I use it a lot in my life, my everyday life, and it also works with common sense as well. Yeah, so that's my input for the group, how much it's helped me.
Hey, has anybody else got any input? Kenya or Maddie?
Yes, I'd like to go next. I think listening to what others have said, I think I definitely agree with them, and in some ways I do connect with them. If I was to pull one out that I feel I've noticed more about myself since being in the group from day one, being part of the WFDA open group, the group where others come and speak. And I gave a talk there once. I think what I've developed in terms of a skill has been the ability to articulate ideas. Before, because of my stuttering and struggle with organizing thoughts, I would keep my ideas to myself. I wouldn't share them. But being part of the group and writing has helped me articulate my ideas more. And that links into public speaking. I have public speaking skills, which I develop daily, and at every opportunity that I'm asked to speak on something, I will speak. And then daily, when I'm speaking with people just in my area about things, when I walk into charity shops, there's always a conversation about charitable deeds, as well as the project that I'm running in Rwanda, and also being part of the WFDA group. So I was talking about the works that we're doing. So it's definitely improved communication and confidence. I feel I'm a lot more confident. Though some would say, "Oh, you've always been confident," but there are different areas that we develop in, and I think sharing ideas and talking about being a neurodiverse practitioner has certainly helped. And then there are two others, empathy, and that's something that I use as a psychotherapist day in, day out. And again, we probably use it as being part of a family, being able to show empathy to others. But also in the community that I live, there are people with all different, from all different walks of life and have all different types of disabilities, visible and invisible. So being able to tune into other people's emotions and their experiences is something that I enjoy doing. I find ways about how I show empathy. Some say it's in the way that I listen, in the way that I use my voice, but it's a skill that I'm developing, especially in this group, when feeding back to others on their presentations and ideas that they present within the WhatsApp group. So yeah, so those are the ones that I'd like to share.
Oh, that's excellent. And I'm even willing to get some feedback of how, even within these 10 minutes, what you've noticed within myself, how to improve it, what is missing, you know.
Maddie, did you want to say anything? Maddie? Okay.
She might still be travelling, because I know often she's travelling, isn't she, on and has it on in background where she can't speak. So I'm wondering
Okay.
if that might be the case.
All right. Alicia, did you want to go back to the presentation, or what did you want to do now?
I wanted to, we can go back to the presentation now.
Okay. Do you want to do a bit of summing up of what's just been said, or would you like me to do it? I don't.
You can do it.
Well, I'll just say some key things that people have been saying about confidence. It's about being able to reflect. It's about being able to organise thoughts, share ideas, public speak, embrace yourselves, and have greater self-awareness, problem solving, and being part of a collective and gaining strength from that. Okay, I'll share the screen now.
Thank you.
Right, so we're going to go on to the part 1, communication and motivation, with all those key points in mind that you've just been discussing. Okay, Alicia.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. So, so there's different types of leadership communication, and I've listed a few here. If you want to add to it, you could. So listening versus speaking, what do you find more important? Active listening, aggressive communication, empathy, emotional intelligence, authoritarian communication versus authoritative communication, and that includes personal judgment or non-judgmental or threatening or non-threatening communication.
So what do you consider to be the most important element of that, Alicia, of this slide?
Okay, I find listening, active listening is more important than anything, because with active listening, it could mean just listening, or it could be interacting, conversing, or it could mean a pause for processing. That's to do with the neurodiverse communication, effective communication. Sometimes there's silence there because it's not because they don't know anything, because they want to process, or you need help, or there's lots of reasons. You can ask them what they really want to get out. You know, yeah.
And
And
what
then
I was interested in when we were talking about your training session was the aggressive communications, and that was something that was very much, very important to you about aggressive communications. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
yeah, I find that aggressive communication is not productive in any way. It's not a two-way street, it's a one-way street. And I find that it's just a dead end. And actually it's very traumatic. It's going the line of someone who, the whole world's been through some sort of traumatic experience. And I find that aggressive communication can trigger a lot of things. And I think we should be going, instead of being so negative with our communication, we should be looking for more positive communication styles to get a more productive outcomes. And that includes being your authentic self in a collective environment, and but having one common goal. Everybody has a different way of doing getting that same outcome. And actually, it's quite interesting to hear other people's how they would approach a subject, and how we can collectively come to that goal. Yeah.
And I'm reading that, authoritarian, when you talk about authoritarian, does that seem aggressive to you when somebody's being very authoritarian?
Yes, because they're talking at you,
Mm.
and it's a bit of a hierarchy sort of situation. So you already feel defeated when that person probably could have added so much to the outcome, but it's kind of like it's stopped that flow. Because I think I'm very capable in a lot of creative environments. Yeah, so I find that it will definitely stop the communication stuff. Yeah.
Which is quite different to authoritative, which is
Yes.
knowing what they're talking about, their subject. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So should we go on to the next slide?
Yes.
Over to you, Alicia.
Okay, so I don't know. I've intentionally made this neurodiverse focus. So the question is listening versus thinking, letting go of ego, allowing space for feedback, non-verbal communication, body language, observational example, eye contact, attention span. So keeping your attention as a neurodiverse person, the longevity of that attention span, negotiation, silent communication, navigation communication, keeping the goal in sight, delayed communication due to processing, need space, need help, clarity of communication for collective decision making.
Okay, do you want to talk a little bit about delayed communication due to processing?
Yeah, so as I discussed earlier, delayed communication could mean a lot of things. Processing, for me, sometimes I am not processing straight away. It takes a little bit of time because of the tension. But if I am actually interested in the subject, if I get to be my authentic self, even the way I approach something creative, something we're creating as a group, the longevity of that attention span will be longer because I'm interested. I'm more interested because I'm doing it my way. But I do have the common goal and the focus on that goal in sight of what we really want to achieve.
And does body language help you with that, with that processing, when you're watching and being observational?
Yes, definitely. That is one of my strengths is observing body language. Definitely. That's the silent communication, if you like. It can be very subtle and it could be very loud. And yeah, and sometimes it could be aggressive, but in a nice way. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
should we move on to the next slide, or would you like to?
Sorry,
Yeah.
so can I just ask, how can it
Yeah.
be aggressive? What do you mean by aggressive in a nice way? Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So say for instance, someone who has a learning disability and they haven't got they're mute. but they have a very positive outlook in life. So they smile a lot, but that's their baseline. Remember, they're not speaking. So their body language can sometimes come out. You know that there's definitely something wrong with them when they're being aggressive now. They either have like they experience maybe like a headache, but they can't tell you that. But you're wondering why they're banging on the table, you know? Or why they like because they have no other way. Can you imagine having a headache and you can't talk, you know? So that's what I mean about aggressive communication in a positive way,
Okay,
if that makes any
thanks.
sense.
Yeah, thanks.
It's
Okay.
about, I suppose, about being sensitive, which is what you were talking about earlier. It's about being
Yes.
sensitive to other people's differences,
Yes.
and recognizing that what might appear to be aggression actually isn't. It's just the way somebody's trying to communicate, as opposed to being somebody purposefully being aggressive in order to be very forceful with somebody else. Yeah.
Correct. Which is the authoritarian type.
Okay.
And I forgot the other one now, if you can just remind me.
Authoritative.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, any other questions for that slide? Okay, well, you're bearing up very well, Becky, with your awful cold. Let's move on. Right, Alicia, this is strategic and operational, and the two are together. Really, you can't have one without the other.
Yes, definitely. So motivation, lead by example. Strategic. Now I haven't my pronunciation isn't very good, but I do understand what this word means. So please forgive me. So it's navigating yourself, inspiring others, generate ideas whilst being inclusive, and an operational, emotional intelligence, knowing how to navigate complex situation, ensure goals are achievable, planning,
Sorry.
that's okay, preparation, action, and reassessment.
Okay, and what we were saying when we were preparing for this training is that you have to be operational in order to be strategic, and you can't be strategic without being operational. So some people are both, and some people are just strategic and need other people who are operational. But it's all about motivation, and it's all about taking people with you. On to the next slide.
Yes.
Okay, we're going on to values and common goals. And Alicia, do you want to talk to this?
Yes. So values, core beliefs. As a collective, before you go out into the breakout room, I want you to write down this question. If you have, do you have a pen?
Please copy and
What?
paste it into the chat for us, maybe.
I probably can't do that at the moment. If you could just write it down.
When
It's
we stop
what
the share, do it.
Pardon?
When we stop the share, I can do it, Dee.
Oh, really? Okay, that's excellent.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so the question is, before you go out into the breakout rooms, is what are your collective values? Values, a breakdown of that is values are key to understanding. As a leader, be sensitive to understanding collective values. For example, how does that operate in the advocacy group? You have 8 minutes in your breakout rooms to discuss this.
Okay, I'm just going to put the question in the chat.
Just while Catherine's doing that, can you read us the question again? Can you tell us the question again while Catherine's typing away and then she'll be popping us into rooms? Can you just try and keep it in the head?
What are your collective values? Okay. So, you know, we've already said that as a group of advocates, we all sign up to values. We're all very different, but we have a collective value. There's no doubt about that. And what we want you to do now is go into breakout rooms, which I'll organise, and discuss what you think those values are.
With you. I'm
And
down
come
there.
back and feed back. So we're going to do breakout rooms for about 8 minutes. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've just got to assign you. For some reason. Oh, yeah, okay. Having a bit of a trouble here. Okay.
The joys of IT.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So in room 1, we've got Andre, Andrew, and Becky. In room 2, we've got Alicia. I am going to put you in a room, Alicia.
Okay.
Alicia, Dee, and Kenya. And in room 3, I've got, I hope Maddie's there. Maddie, are you with us? Okay, I'm going to assign to room. I'm going to assign Jennifer to room 2. So we've got 2 rooms actually. One room we've got Andre, Andrew, and Becky, and room 2 because I can't find Maddie. We've got Alicia, Dee, Kenya, and Jennifer. Okay, is that okay with everybody? I'm out here because somebody needs to be dealing with the technology. And just remember what your question is. What are your collective values? You just need to discuss values, okay? What do values mean to you? Do you have similar values? Right, here we go. Maddie, are you with us? Hi there, Rose. Do you want to go in a room?
You talking to me, Catherine?
I am. Do you want me to put you in a room or do you want to just stay here?
No, I'm really absolutely shattered. I've been up since 5, so I'd just like to listen in, please. I've lost the signal about 3 times. I'm now home, so I'd just
Well,
like
for 5 minutes, they're in breakout rooms, okay? So you might want to just make yourself a cup of tea or coffee and come back in 5 minutes.
yeah, I'll put it on mute for now and just listen and look around. Yeah, I've got a bowl of soup. Thank you.
So, yeah. What are you doing, naughtiness? Naughtiness. Somebody's sneezing. Somebody's sneezing away. Okay. I think, have we got everybody? Haven't got Andrew.
We lost 3 people, didn't we?
What's
We had
happened?
10 before. Sadia's gone.
There's Andrew, Andre, and Becky. They haven't come back. They'll be back in a minute. 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, okay.
Yeah.
Ah, there they are.
There we go. Full complement. Alicia, do you want to get the feedback?
Yes. Could I have your feedbacks after the breakout rooms?
Andrew, do you want to go for our room? Because I'm going to say I know my voice a bit thinking, but I'll be
Okay,
honest,
yeah,
you're happy.
sure.
I just thought if you want to do
one
us.
of the things that we were saying is that we actually really do. Sorry if I'm leaning a bit forward. Leo is sitting on my lap at the moment. I do apologize. But one of the things that we often do is we put our values and value ourselves, and we're always kind of very much caring for other people. So, for example, if someone is struggling, we are more likely to want to go and help other people, and also standing up for what we believe in. And, making sure people are getting their support. We were talking about actually about how, when people tell us, you're dyslexic, you're dyspraxic, you're on the autism spectrum, you can't do this, it makes us more deterministic. And I mentioned about we often have very much a creative mindset, because I've worked with a lot of students who go into professions that are kind of caring as well, like nursing, teaching. And we often want to advocate and, to make a difference in the world. So, having that high unconditional positive regard is a term that we kind of use in kind of mentoring, because I have done some autism mentoring in the past, and I have had counselling with counsellors. I would only use a counsellor who follows that approach. So Sharon Rosenblum does that. And yeah. And it was generally, we were having an open discussion, and Becky and Andre and I were feeling empathetic towards both their situations at the moment. So that's just a classic example of, being about people, for people. I think I summed up pretty well.
Yeah, you did great.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. So the next group, is there anyone wanted to reflect on after the breakout rooms? Can you nominate someone?
I'd like to nominate Dee, as she had adopted an observer position.
Well, I don't know about adopting an observer position. I didn't really have much to say, and we also ran out of time. I don't know really. I drew a bit of a blank, but I think when listening to what Andrew was saying, I'm going to agree with things like empathy and trying to help others, because those are things that I can relate to. But yeah, I haven't got that much to say actually at the moment. So I think that's about all I can say.
Anybody else?
No, I just wanted to add, because I was in that group, bringing out the best value in everyone, in their own unique way, then somehow merging together, without any criticism, making something that is complex, then making it simple, achieving the same or even better outcomes from a collective, what can I say, when we navigate in a common goal.
And that community point I thought was really good, that we it's really important to us that we kind of support this neurodiversity thing, but also that we think like a community. Yeah.
That's incredibly powerful, actually. I've been writing notes while everybody talks, and it's a really powerful values that we have. There's intrinsic fairness going on here. I really liked what Andrew said about positive regard, making a difference, being determined, being non-judgmental, and I love that, thinking like a community. Community values are really important because now we find each other as neurodivergent people. Our community values run deep. Has anybody else got anything else they want to add to that?
Just one little thing. I ran over, I'm not talking yet, so I'll show myself up. It's my own fault. But I mentioned it in our group, and I just thought it was worth just raising it now while we're talking about values and everything. You know, a few sessions ago, I mentioned that I'd contacted my local MP over the access to work. That is still ongoing, and I feel such a sense of value because a couple of people said, "Why are you giving up?" I'm like, "I'm not giving up. Right? There's no kind of chance I'm giving up." And I've sent quite a few numbers of very long emails now. And from that, I got an email back saying he sent it to the Secretary of State, and then I got one from the under people, one from below them on their behalf, just basically saying yes, it's the employers again, same response. And then my MP came back saying, if there's anything else you can do, please just let me know. So he got another long email back explaining that that's not satisfactory. I feel I need an appointment with the Secretary of State. So I replied back to that saying he didn't know if that would how busy they are, and he didn't know exactly how he could do that and if that would be possible. So he got one back again, and now he's requested an appointment. So I'm waiting to hear with the Secretary of State. I've requested an in-person or Teams. And then last Sunday, because it snowed up here and I couldn't go out with my friends, I've contacted over 200 MPs across the country. I just went through them alphabetically with the same email, explaining the situation, explaining basically how bad it is, how that could be allowed to be accepted. I've had a number of emails and letters from House of Parliament back saying that they can't do anything because you have to contact your local MP, which I already knew. I was just wanting to raise the awareness. So now at least they all know. And one of them responded back and said, even though he can't represent a person because I'm not in their constituency, but it's for me to say, but he will raise it in open questions in Parliament. So at least we're getting the awareness out, and that's because of sense of value from the group that I feel so focused to do it. So I will update again. So sorry to jump in on the thing, but I thought that linked in with values. So I just thought I would share.
I think you're getting a collective clap. So
That's absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
there's determination for you, and just keep on going and you get there. Yeah. Well, you know that they are, MPs are public servants.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I thought when my mom and a few other people like, you're just wasting your time. I'm like, no, I'm not. I said, at the end of the day, we're paying their wages, and I says, how can they justify it? And a few who emailed me back, a few of the MPs who said under the parliamentary rules they can't, but they agreed that it did need moving forward. So again, I went all up and down the country because I went alphabetically. So basically, I managed to get to S on Sunday, going through all of them, including, I thought, sod it. I even sent it to Chancellor. I thought, you know what? I just didn't do it to. I thought, yeah, send it in. You never know.
They're thinking we're going to be hearing from this woman again.
Yep.
Dee, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, sorry. I must have missed something along the way because I don't know what you mean, but I don't know whether it's better to ask you to explain a bit more later because I know maybe you and Alicia and Catherine, you want to maybe get on with the next bit. But yeah, I don't really know what Becky's talking about. I feel like I've missed something along the way.
Just give context, Becky.
Okay. Yeah, basically on, I think it was Jennifer's talk, she mentioned something a couple of months back, which I chipped it in on, to say that what I'd done when I changed companies, I asked for my access to work that had been paid for by the government, us the taxpayer, to be transferred through. And because my boss didn't want me to leave, he didn't give me the code, so I couldn't take my Dragon software with me. And I'd heard on probably a couple of years ago on one of these advocacy groups, when it used to be the bigger group, that somebody else had a similar issue. So I was like, hold on a minute, this can't be right. So I looked into it, and that's what I've been doing. And actually, once you get that access to work stuff, it doesn't become the property of the individual that what we've paid for. It becomes it belongs to the employer, and it's the employer's choice whether they choose to give you all like your Dragon, your Read 'em Out, or anything else that basically is being paid for. So therefore you have to go through the access to work system again and wait. And currently the backlog stands at 18 weeks for access to work, unless you apply before you start your new job, and then you get put to the front of the queue. But you have to apply and then for a few weeks before you start the job to be put in front. And I've been explaining originally to my MP, and then again, because he's not, I don't think he's grasping fully what I'm telling him, even though I'm writing it in length and detail. So I'm now just trying to lobby, and what I've asked for is I want a law to be, I want the policy or the laws to be changed. I said it's only a simple change of wording, and it raised because technically, as I put it, I says this is theft. I said you can't walk into a shop, one person buy it and somebody else take it. I says it was bought for the individual, so it should stay with that individual needs it. And their response to that, then I will promise I'll stop waffling. Their response to the first response when it went to Department of Work and Pensions was, we apologise for her situation, and I'm not my situation. I've got my new employee's paid for it. It's everybody else after me that I'm concerned over, which I put in the letter. It's the fact that we're taking on more staff to try and get through the backlog. Well, don't take the staff on, solve the problem. You know.
Okay. So it's about making sure that people have access to the equipment even when they change employers.
Yeah, and they don't have to reapply time and time again, which is costing the taxpayer, and it's making it really difficult for people with a disability, which I've also put, to change jobs, because if you can't take that software with you and you can't start your new job, because I can't work without the Read and Write software, therefore you're restricting that person's options to move employment, and that can't be right either. So again, I'm lobbying for all that at the moment.
So that is a value that we've been talking about, which is about intrinsic fairness, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'll let you carry on now. Sorry for checking over. I'll let you.
Thanks, Becky.
No, you haven't taken over. It's very, very interesting what you're talking about, because it's actually what we're speaking of, the common goal, and also you've got your own unique way of doing something, and without those tools, if it's not your choice to be able to choose your assistive technology, is that right?
Well, yeah, choice with assistive technology, and also choice to even have it, because if your employer doesn't pay for it, and your old employer won't let you take it with you, then you can't physically do your next job. You can't move because you're tied in, because you're locked into needing that software.
Right, exactly. So that's what needs to be that's the bit where the communication, would you say, is very important.
Well, that sounds like there is a need for a change in legislation.
Yeah.
And you know what you need to do next, Becky, don't you? You need to get a petition going.
Oh, I'd not thought about that. How would I go about doing that?
Well, you see, I'll talk to you about it later. You do an online petition. If you get 1,000 people signing up, they have to debate it in Parliament.
Oh.
And then if you can get your MP or an MP to do a private member's bill on the basis of the petition that's been debated in Parliament, then you might have a chance of changing legislation.
Oh, can you, if you could chat to me about this offline, so I'm not taking anybody's time up, and let me have that information, that'd be great, because I wasn't aware of any of that.
We'll talk about it.
Perfect. Thank you.
So it's possible to do. It's doable.
Oh, that's good. That's what I like to hear. I'm going to say you're first person to really say that what I'm doing is doable. Everybody else is very dismissive that you're not going to be able to change it. I'm like,
I know about parliamentary processes.
Perfect. I'm learning as I go, so I don't know that very much at all.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Should we crack on then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay. Are you okay with that, Alicia?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Catherine.
that was that was
That was really good.
wasn't it?
Mhm.
That was,
Yeah.
that was fun. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I don't know what hell's happening here, but as usual, the mouse wants to have its own mouse mind. Okay, over to you, Alicia, because we've done the feedback, we've done it. So now you just want to make your statement here.
Yes. So okay. So values to be continued regarding the feedback. So statements. Key to understanding others' perspective is to value and be non-judgmental. Bring out the best in people to create a common outcome for all.
And that's what we have just been discussing to great effect. Okay, so we're on to the last two slides. And over to you, Alicia. Collective values lead to common goals. So what you're going to talk about now is the environment for those common goals to happen.
Okay, so collective values lead to common goals. We need common goals to lead. The environment for these goals to happen are to ensure inclusivity. People need to feel included. Trust must be gained. Communication for all understanding. Check for understanding. Critical thinking. Ensure initiative.
So ensure that everybody has the chance to have initiative, yeah?
Definitely. So it's just like what Becky just explained, that she has her own approach with assistive technology. Yeah, there was good example in this talk already.
Okay, so we're on to the last slide. So this is your outcomes. This is some of your outcomes when you have common goals.
Okay, so common goals, outcome and feedback. So making something complex simple, being positive, trying something new, mentorship, collective understanding, and sign up for the main goal. Those are, I believe, are common collective goals.
Well, has anybody got any questions for Alicia?
So how did you feel about delivering the presentation? Is one of my questions. And I would just like to say that it was very good to kind of take a step back, because this has actually given me an opportunity as well to reflect on how sometimes we could do things and not actually recognize what we already do. So
That is very interesting question, and exactly what I'm going through, because I do it in every day of my life. But to present it, because I'm actually on a different, seen from different lens, and actually for the first time I'm feeling comfortable doing
that's
this.
great.
Yeah, since I've been in this group, I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah.
And also I have been very reflective. I've also been very inclusive. I've just broadened my perspective. I've taken on board constructive criticism, but I also don't know everything. I offload, I reload.
But do we
Yeah,
ever know in everything though? Because that's one of the things as a group, we all share ideas. No, it's really important. Even if someone has used, so like in my role in my job, I've used many of the assistive technology programs as a trainer for 15 years. And I've used some of the programs outside as a student for 20 years. And we can never always know everything. But when we come together as a collective and we can share our lived experience and different approaches, that's when a team can kind of formulate. So in terms of thinking you need to know everything, you don't, and do, would it be helpful if we knew everything? Well, no, because we wouldn't communicate with other people.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I wouldn't worry about that.
Ah,
I think-
thank you.
And I think that it's something that Alicia was talking about earlier, which was saying that it's so important, active listening, because active listening is also about reflecting and giving space and being self-aware, which I think a lot of this training has touched on, hasn't it, Alicia?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Anybody else got any observations or questions for Alicia?
I think it was nice having a different way of doing things. Kind of the you know, but you would prompt Alicia, and Alicia would give a bit more of an explanation of certain points, breakout rooms. So I think it's nice to change up the style sometimes. So that was good. It was useful. Thanks for that. Thanks for the talk and everything as well, Alicia and Catherine.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate your feedback. That was good.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Anybody else got any final comments before we stop recording?
Thank you. Is that Andrea? She said that I'm looking more confident. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
definitely could see you just kind of presenting, taking your time, reflecting, kind of acknowledging what people were saying, but you seem just quite calm and comfortable kind of doing this presentation. It was lovely to see.
Yeah.
Sorry, taking a lot of time and effort to think about what you've put into it, and it's made me reflect on a lot of things as well.
Do you want to explain what they are, or it's okay if you don't?
I'm
you
trying.
don't
I
have
wrote
to.
down notes, but I'm trying to read them with my one blurry eye. Hang on. I think one of the things you said, and I do actually really agree with this as well. It's all about motivation. Leading by example, I think, is really important in any role, because whether it's you not as a manager, you as an individual, I think other people then look at what you're doing and can follow your example. And it's taking those people with you in a leadership role. Everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses, and I think if you can amalgamate everybody together, acknowledging who's weaker in areas and helping them kind of develop those areas, but also seeing their strengths and helping them work again with that. So I think that was really, it's made me reflect a lot over my working career, the different jobs I've done.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and we've got something in the chat which says, Jennifer is saying, love this talk, Alicia. I feel happy and a bit more relaxed from this calm pace. And Kenya's saying, well done, Alicia and Catherine. So, but more well done, Alicia. So collective celebration for Alicia's training session. I'm just going to stop